This morning, we are here to speak about the principal of the Johnson City Middle School and him currently being in custody for the charges of luring a child and attempted rape.
Daniel Erickson, a 55-year-old middle school principal in custody, accused of luring a 16-year-old girl for sex with a milkshake and chicken nuggets. Welcome back to Sidebar here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. Erickson is on administrative leave from the Johnson City School District, where he has worked for some time now. He's also being held without bail as sheriff's officials continue to investigate him. On July 7th, deputies say he showed up to a wooded area with chicken nuggets, condoms, and a Grimace milkshake from a popular fast food restaurant. Listen to the sheriff explain how it started.
The initial conversation on Snapchat began with Daniel posing as a younger adult and subsequently revealing his true identity as the principal.
Joining me to discuss this disturbing story and even more disturbing allegations is Florina Alt Schiller. She is a criminal defense attorney, but also worked as a prosecutor and prosecuted sex crimes for several years. So, Florina, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Your initial thoughts on this story and the allegations?
One word, disgusting. I think this is a disturbing story, and if true, very disturbing allegations.
Snapchat, is something a lot of teenagers use. Hopefully kids younger than teenagers aren't using it. But this type of thing, it's a digital footprint. It's going to be there forever. It's going to be tracked back to you. Does it surprise you that people still do these types of things, that they would pursue a child using social media?
I think there's a lot of misinformation about social media, and people think that Snapchat allows you to chat and the messages and videos disappear. They do not disappear. That digital footprint is left. Anyone can take a screenshot of it, anyone can save it, and of course it can always be subpoenaed from the provider. And so people thinking that they are protected behind this internet layer and wall with disappearing messages are absolutely wrong, and they will be caught, as we can see here.
Mm-hmm. He apparently, according to authorities, he's innocent until proven guilty, had been communicating with this 16-year-old girl for a week or more on Snapchat prior to his arrest. So your thoughts on that and the fact that obviously someone concerned enough tipped off authorities?
Well, it's a good thing that somebody concerned enough did tip off authorities, because this is a case of a 55-year-old man who is also the principal of a middle school, sexually pursuing a 16-year-old child. There is a lot wrong with that. I don't think there's any gray area to see how this would be in any way appropriate. Age is age. She's 16, he's 55. There's no room for any sort of excuse.
Yeah, the part that really disturbs me about this is the fact that Daniel Erickson, as you mentioned, is a middle school principal. It would disturb me whether he was a principal or, a construction worker or what have you, but he's in a position of trust. He's in a position where he is supposed to be a mentor and role model to students and ensuring that those students get a good education. Instead, the allegation is that, maybe he was probably doing that during his day job. But on July 5th, he's arrested trying to meet a girl with, as you said, condoms, chicken nuggets, and a Grimace milkshake. So this is stuff, we're talking about McDonald's food, things, geared toward children. A Grimace milkshake's going to be something that a child would eat along with chicken nuggets. So it's just so, the allegations are so creepy. And the fact that it's somebody in this type of position doing it is also concerning.
Very concerning, but sadly, from my line of work, not particularly surprising. It is not uncommon that adults who have an interest in children attempt to go undetected and work in positions of power where they have access to children, typically schools, law enforcement, camps, counselors. It's unfortunate. I think institutions need to screen better to eliminate people like that from positions of power and employment where they have access to children. And of course, these are just allegations. We do not know if he's guilty or not. But if these allegations are true, then I wonder whether or not there are other children who will come forward with whom he had inappropriate relations and contact, especially since he was overseeing a middle school full of children.
And you hit on a good point there, an important point. The fact that people who are predators often do pursue lines of work in which they will be have close proximity to people that they want to prey upon. But the thing that I find so concerning about this is the fact that we do have people in these positions who do that. Sometimes they're really good at putting on the mask. And so I don't know if additional screening always would catch it. Maybe it would. I don't know how much screening it would require to detect these things earlier. But it makes you wonder, I mean, how many people in these positions are doing and engaging in these types of things and not being caught?
Yeah, I mean, what makes these predators good at being predators is how they go by undetected and how they slowly groom their victims into being comfortable communicating with them, and the type of sexual conduct that they engage in with their victims escalates. So it doesn't start off with them attempting to have sex with a child. It starts off by earning trust and grooming that child to be comfortable and grooming that child to not report what's happening. And so they're able to get away with it because children are not reporting it because they don't know any better, because they're children and because they're scared. The nice thing about social media, as this conduct more and more is done through social media and through electronic communications, it's leaving a footprint and other people are finding it. Parents are finding it, friends are finding it, and then those people are speaking up and holding the offender accountable.
Which is a good thing, but it just makes me wonder. I mean, yes, more people are being caught these days, I think, because of the social media and electronic portion of this. So they are caught more frequently. But this has been going on for a really long time, this type of thing. I mean, you said you saw it in your line of work, or you do see it in your line of work. This stuff's been going on forever.
Yes. I mean, I think that we are at a point in society where there is not a cure or solution to it, right? We don't understand what it is about the human brain that makes adults sexually interested in children, and how scientifically we can change the human brain for those people who are adults interested in children to curtail that desire and to control that desire. Now, of course, you could say common sense, you're an adult, what are you doing with a child? This is not appropriate. You need to not do that. But if you think about it as an uncontrollable impulse, not much different than an addiction to drugs, then it's a lot more difficult to control. And we don't have established treatment in America or anywhere else in the world that will curtail that uncontrollable desire. And so the only remedy that we have in our society today is prison, to separate people who we believe are dangerous away from society so that they're not able to do that again.
Well, Daniel Erickson is now on administrative leave. He's been the principal at that school for 10 years, but employed with the district for 20. The investigation's ongoing, and he is being held without bail as that investigation is ongoing. So it will be interesting to see whether or not they come up with more information about this. Like if there are other victims that come forward or accusers, and whether or not more charges are filed. Florina Alt Schiller, as always, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Nice to be on.
And that's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. You can listen to and download Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can also watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel anytime. I'm Anjanette Levy, and we will see you next time.